Get the camera or?
No, just talk.
Just
Oh man, what a start to the podcast. Hey Loma, man, thanks for coming, bro. I appreciate it. For those that don't know, Loma's not only a boxing coach. We'll dive into your history, but yeah, Loma's a great guy. I met him some time ago, and at Glenn and David's gym. He's a boxing coach there, but Loma's got a long history in boxing, and you know, he's competed in the Olympics as well.
Commonwealth
Games.
I made every level competition like a world champs, Commonwealth, just 1 point short from making Olympics.
Yeah. Tell me a bit about, man, let's go all the way back, man. What got you into boxing, and tell me a little bit about your history. Obviously, I know a lot more than probably, you know, others, but yeah, kind of dive into what got you into boxing, kind of like growing up, and yeah.
So what got me into boxing? My little brother Willie, he's 2 years younger than me. He wanted to box. At that time, I knew my dad kind of had like a boxing history, and I was playing rugby union. And mind you, I was living in New Zealand at the time. Dad just said, "Oh, come to the boxing gym." So I went to a boxing gym called Bellevue Boxing Club. So that's back in Wellington and Lower Hutt. There's a mention there anyway. The first week, like I gone there, and there was this one punching bag, and it was like soft as a sponge, right? And I couldn't really like hit the bag, and then I don't know what it was, and then I just trained from there because I just started boxing to get fit for rugby. And then what happened was the coach at the time, for that 1 week of training, he must have seen something in me. He comes up, he goes, "Hey, do you like want to fight?" And I said, "Oh yeah." Whatever, I just said, yeah, my first week, and then literally like the next week I had my first fight. And I was probably like 36 kilos, and I was about 11 years old. And then that took off from there, and then I ended up kind of training even harder. I took it more serious, and my brother dropped off. And then my dad would take me every night, trained every day, and then I guess, I don't know, I was the type of person like I could, like if my dad took me, I just went anyway. And then I had my first fight, I lost my first fight, big bloody nose, but I ended up just sticking with the sport,
Yeah.
That's it, just
was like getting into uni, was that just like a normal thing for like growing up in Wellington and where rugby?
Yeah, because in NZ you're pretty much every father wants their son to play for the All Blacks. And that's why the Wallabies can't. But and that's why the rugby's so good over there. And then, over the years, then I just taken my boxing more serious, and then I had to kind of give the sport away, like rugby away. And at the time, like, you know, you're trying to lose weight, cut weight for fights, so I wasn't growing. I'm probably the smallest Tongan you ever meet. It was all of big boys. And then just went from there. And then from that day on, maybe the coach did see something in me that, you know, like I was always good at sport. I didn't know. Because I was never ever like an aggressive kid growing up, so it tripped out a lot of like my family members and just the community, like at school, that I would be boxing because I was always the kind-hearted kid, you know. But I'm the type, like if someone hits me hard, then I'm gonna go like I'm gonna hit you hard. So.
And how long were you in New Zealand, bro? Like when you were boxing, like how long were you there before you came over to Australia?
So I started, so I was 11 years old, and when we come over to Australia, I just turned 16. So that period when I was fighting in New Zealand, it just got to the point I couldn't fight anyone in New Zealand. I was just beating everyone. And then by the time I came to Oz, I was relatively like unknown, but I beat a lot of good boys who were making the nationals and that, and then I pretty much took off from there. And then just because Australia at the time, they've got more fighters than in NZ, so I started taking off, and then I ended up fighting about 3 Olympians by the time I was 16. You know, because I see a lot of the kids that are coming through and they got big dreams and hopes and this and that. Nothing wrong with that, but I don't think I've seen a kid that's come through like now that I look back, you know, to be 16 fighting grown men because you couldn't fight the kids good because you were bashing them. You know, like that was a big testament for me, and then pretty much that's how my career played out. And when I look back now, I kind of relish it, like cherish it a bit more, because I haven't met someone yet like that's come through my gym or even in this country, apart from Justice Hooney, who's doing very good. You know, the talent was always there, and I was bound for big things.
And so you came over to Australia, and then what was kind of the road to the Commonwealth Games? How old were you when you were the Commonwealth Games?
I just turned 21.
I just turned 21.
So I was 21 in July, so I'm a
Yeah.
Cancerian.
Yeah.
And then the Commonwealth Games would have been around about, it was in October or September in India.
Oh, was it in India?
Yeah, it was in New Delhi. So I love India. I love the Indian
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
love Indian food.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then just leading up towards that, from the 2008 to 2010, like I literally didn't even fight. I didn't have a fight for 2 years. But for me, to get better, I was still training my mindset and seeing the best fighters in the world coming through. And that's how I developed. And then during that time, like I didn't finish school. I dropped out of HSC like a couple weeks out. And I know like it's not the best thing to do, but if I had to look back, I should have just, done a catch-up year the next year. But I wanted to go and pursue my dreams, and sometimes in life you got to take that risk.
Yeah, of course.
Even when people don't believe in you, like you got to believe in yourself. So
well, only you know what you want and what you're trying to achieve. Man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
And that's what it was. So those 2 years, like I worked at Fairfield RSL like a couple of days a week, probably only made like $120 a week. But like fortunate enough, like my parents were there supporting me all the way. They were sending me overseas, even using their whole wage to send me overseas, and they'll live off noodles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the first 2 years when we first come to Australia, when we left New Zealand, I was literally sleeping on the concrete floor.
Yeah.
So like I said, like anyone that's looking to do something, but if you have the faith and you have the work ethic and you believe in yourself when no one else will, it will take you far, because it does. Like you're gonna go through a lot of doubts and stuff. So now when I look back, and then when guys from my old school and back in India, they see what I'm doing now, all those choices I made has defined me to where I'm at now.
Yeah, 100%.
And now they're like, oh, look at this guy, like, oh, he's got 2 properties now, and he's driving this, and no one understands like the hard grind and the shit I actually had to go through. Like I remember like every time after we used to train, because we were staying at my dad's uncle's house, we wouldn't eat dinner at their place. Like I had to buy like pre-made like cooked chicken at Woolworths and sit at the park. But every time I sat at the park and I was like eating those raisin bread rolls and the chicken, just fresh before we used to go to my uncle's house, I used to always say that, and I like talking to myself, so it's like, one day I'm not going to be in this shit position, And I think that's what my parents are trying to, they gave me that hard work ethic to not go through that cycle where, you're having to struggle,
Yeah.
And I feel like now, like I've broken out of that cycle. Now it's like onto bigger things, like whether people love me or they hate me, I don't really give a fuck, because at the end of the day, no one will understand your grind.
I love it, man.
And I feel like that's why I'm starting, like I'm getting busy now, because a lot of my students and members, they'll come and they're like, holy shit, like, this guy's a Pacific Islander, he's a coconut and didn't finish school, this and that, but like, it's the vision and the choices that you make.
That means shit, bro. In hindsight, let's be honest here, like it means shit. It means the world and it matters at the time.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're like, fuck, because this is your world. This is all you know.
Yeah.
Right? So, and you're, 17, 18 in high school and whatnot. But in hindsight, man, when you grow older, it's the experiences and what you do with your life. Really, that's what it comes down to, man. So in hindsight, that really means shit. It's what you do from now. Onwards, right? And, so what was it like going into the Commonwealth Games, man? What was kind of your lead up into that? Like, so you're just fighting locally, and then
so the 2 years I didn't fight, so I literally only had one fight, and it was a month out, so it was my first fight after 2 years. And the whole time, the 2 years, I was hanging around like 75 kilos, but my weight I had to fight at was 60. And then I trained about 5 months out from the Commonwealth Games. I ended up dropping from 75, got down to 58 when I got to India. The training was different. I didn't even have a gym. Like, we weren't even training at the PCYC. Like, literally, I was at the park. So, like, you just have to deal with what you got, Like, whatever cards you have, it's like, how you can turn it, the negative into a positive.
Yeah, of course.
And then the whole time, my dad would be like, gold medal, gold medal. So every day was drumming. Every time, like, I trained hard during the lead up. If it came to sprints, like, my trick is I'll close my eyes on the last 150 meters. And I'll have to find out, like, inner peace of my mind when I'm pushing to be like, I'm not going to be in that shit position once I get this medal, And then getting to the Commonwealth Games, that's next level. Like, when you get to like a Com or a World Champs and you see all these fighters and their coaches, you see them hit the pads, it's fucking intimidating, because you have to respect every fighter there, because it's like, they're there because they're good, But I had a good mindset, lucky, like at the time when I went to my first Commonwealths, the best Commonwealth Games team I ever had, because I had Junior Far. Junior Far is world under I think WBO. He's ranked number 6. So he's the sparring partner to Deontay Wilder. So me and him, we were coming through the ranks together, and he's doing very well. So I'll plug you in there, Junior. Yeah, then I remember like just not being with my teammates, and Lola, who trains Mark Hunt, he was saying to the boys like, "Fuck, Lomi doesn't like hanging around with people." And then, but he didn't know till after, and I told him, I go, I don't like hanging around with people because the fighters were starting to get nervous. So that nervous energy was contagious. Yeah. Because some of the boys, when we're like training on track, and you see, man, everyone's like throwing their shadow boxing. You know, anyone can look good hitting the air. Air doesn't hit back, you know. And then you know what I'll do, like to G myself up, I'll tell the boys, don't worry about them. Fuck, we're here because we're good. Don't fucking look at them, you know. Like that's my mentality, you know. Like if they think they're good, yeah, they're good, but I'm better. You know what I'm saying? That way, and that's the whole tournament. It panned out the way I wanted it. You know, I beat one of the favourites from Canada, Alex Ren, and he only just lost to Alex Toledo. That's fought Lomenchenko like 2 or 3 times. And for me to beat him and to shut everyone up, you know, that was the payoff, because that was the fight to get me to the medal rounds. And then obviously I ended up losing to Josh Taylor in a very close fight. But Josh Taylor now is a unified champion. You know, like he won that Muhammad Ali World Series boxing comp, and he won $22 million. And then only a couple of months ago, he's with Top Rank. So that's the level I expect, like when I train my students or people who want to perform at their best. You know, it's either you go in or you just don't fucking do it. You know?
And they probably have more. To play with than you ever did as well.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So there should be no excuses in the sense that I guess a lot more. I guess things are accessible for them, right? To be able to be really good boxers, right?
Yeah.
With training equipment facilities.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
you're talking about training in the park, right?
Yeah.
And the other day I see a story got a second ring coming.
Yeah.
You got a second ring in there, right?
So it's funny that you lead onto that, because that was another reason why I was so motivated, because Australia at that Commonwealth Games had gone to Cuba, Russia, everywhere. You know, they're on the planes and they got the tracksuits and this and that, rah. But in my head, the whole time I was training, I was like, you know what? My skills are going to pay the bills. Doesn't matter where the fuck they go, they're not going to be on my level. And it paid. Like me and Gina, we ended up both winning bronze medal. And Australia, that was the worst Commonwealth Games in the boxing team. They did not win 1 medal. And then that's when they cut the funding for a couple of years. So for me, it was sweet. And I remember a couple of the Australian boys, you know, when they seen, and I got to the medal rounds, they were just fucking spewing. And I was just like, they'll look at me and I'm like, yeah, fuck you cunts. I go, you guys traveled and had all the money, but the money doesn't pay for the skills that I attain.
I love it. And then, man, obviously for a lot of people may not know, but you got to get in the ring with the now champion Vasyl Lomenchenko, right? Bro, wow, that was amazing, man. I mean, he's hands down one of my, not because of I'm jumping the train, but just I even love the story of his dad pulling him out to go learn Ukrainian dancing. I mean, I love that. I just find those things like genius moves, you know, things that just life can't teach. That was just, you know, and I just love those backstories. But obviously, man, like, what was that like? I mean, obviously, he's nowhere near what he was then and supposed to now. But what was it like? You know, getting in the ring with him and then seeing what he's kind of set out to go and achieve for himself now, man.
Yeah, he's like next level. Like, I remember there's a few stories on him when I was there, right? So like a couple times, like when at the time, like if you're in the boxing community, everyone knew who he was. So if you had seen him for the first time, it was like, you get starstruck because you're like, holy shit, that's Lomenchenko.
Even
man, like, and like this is even before, like, even before Commonwealth Games, he was already a superstar. He was already ready. And I remember this one particular story. We were at the weigh-in, and I was sitting next to an English guy called Martin Ward, and there was another youth gold medalist from the Olympics. His name was Petraskis, some Lithuanian dude, very strong. And all of us boys were lining up, and you know, we're sitting on chairs like this, but we're sitting next to each other. I remember this like it was yesterday, bro. So Lomenchenko walks in, and you can hear him listening like it was something like Snoop Dogg or something, you know, some rap shit, you know. And he turns around, he stands up, and he looks at all of us. You know what he does? He's like, like he just laughs at all of us.
Get the fuck out.
It's like me and this Martin Ward. Martin Ward's actually, I think he's got one of the belts in Europe right now, in the featherweight. Anyways, me and him look at this cunt, like Lomenchenko, and we're like, we want to bash him, but like he's good, like because he had already known he's gonna win the tournament. So that was his like cocky side, you know. But he can be cocky because he's the best. And then even like I remember training and the Ukrainian team were coming after, so I was seeing all the guys that train like Errol Spence because you don't know them, you know, like but you see them, you know. And then the Ukrainian team and every top nation boxing team, like the Ukrainians, the Cubans, every time you're in the bus with them, they're the cockiest bitches out. Like, you know, because they know they're the best. But when they used to come in and then Lomenchenko would walk in and then he would just look and he's like, you know, he's got this like arrogance, like, you guys are not, like, just go home, you know? And then I ended up drawing him and then just like in his presence, you know, you're like, holy shit, like, I think when I look back, I gave him too much respect. I should have done better than what I should. So when I train my clients and my students, they're just another name. They're human just like you. And then just moving with him, like if everyone asks, yes, he hits hard, very precise. He's a chess player. He thinks 1 to 20 moves. So the way that he moves is how I teach my students because you can only try and improve involved and I'm rich for the experience. And then just he's a gentleman outside. After the fight, he's like come over, he's like, you know, talking to me and I treasure that because like now when I look back, it's like, you know what, I fought the best in the world, you know. Like
because you met Joshua at the time too. I've seen a photo with you and Joshua as well.
So it was that same world champ. So Junior, the one I mentioned, he was his sparring partner, but no one knew Joshua. I already knew Joshua was gonna make it big before he'd even been big. You know what I'm saying? Because
what made you think that?
His power, like he was beating the top boys and just his power, and he was moving around with Junior. And Junior, my mate, is a very good fighter, and he was still very raw. I got a student at my gym. I see very similar traits. I don't say because he's my student I'm biased. I think my student I have at my gym reminds me of a Joshua. And then even before Joshua made it, and I had the photo. People look back like, "Fuck, you had already met Joshua." I'm like, "Yeah." I go, I know all the boys before they even made it. You'll see them on Instagram, they'll comment and you know, you got your Joe Parkers, your Junior Fars, your Josh Taylors. But because we've grown up in there, everyone has that respect. Doesn't matter if you fight each other.
It's friendships, right?
It's that mutual respect, you know? And I know when they get older and when they're done with the sport, it's the memories you cherish and the friendships you build. So that's why like now, when I do see Joshua, like he's done very well. And I already knew before he had made it anyway.
And that's crazy, man. I mean, what's your thoughts in like just boxing in Australia and just I guess boxing in general in terms of the local scene, the system, just like it can always be better, right? So that's probably a stupid question to say, can it be better? It can always be better. But what's your thoughts on where we're at in terms of obviously, you know, the standards are quite lopsided, right? In comparison to America to here and whatnot. So like give me your thoughts on kind of the local scene and just the boxing system, just you know, where it's at now and like what probably needs to happen in order to get, you know, for it to get better. Not that you know, kind of your thoughts, you know.
To be honest, I think Australia is producing some good fighters. There are some good coaches out there. Very hard to find. There's a few coaches that I look up to here in Australia that I'm trying to emulate. I'm not going to give them a big head or anything. But yes, we are actually doing very good. In the Asian qualifiers, we've had 4 qualify. Justice Huni, the biggest one. Paula Aku, so he's gonna do good. To have 4 qualify already through Asia, it says a lot because Asia is a very hard continent, just as hard as the Europeans. If the schooling's right in the local scene, sometimes I'll just put it this way. Sometimes I go to the fights in the local scene and I get very bored. Because I've been to that top level and I see what it is, I feel like I have to dumb myself down, but I have to because when I'm developing my fights and coaching's not easy, so I give the respect to all the coaches that are doing their best. It's hard because like, you know, you're going to have your politics, you know, they're going to have their certain styles, selection panel's going to sit there, they want to choose who they want. But for me, I've always been that type, it doesn't matter what it is, you're going to have to find a way, you're going to try and always win, even when you're losing, even if you get ripped off, you know what I'm saying? So the local scene, especially in New South Wales, there's not anyone that's really come that's made me be like, wow, that guy's good. I can think of one, not too bad, out at Tom Lambert's gym in Kickstart. Taj, very good fighter, I like the way he moves. There's not too many, maybe because like I said, I've been to that level, so I have a particular eye, and that's how I expect my students to be. You know, it doesn't matter whether it's boxing or not; they're doing their best. But right now in terms, Australia's doing very good.
Yeah. So obviously, I mean, to flip that around, I guess what needs to keep happening in order for the quality to come up and the standard? Is that just going to come down with coaches and facility people, like, you know, what obviously certain coaches will fly down and whatnot, right? People obviously kind of you'll have coaches from overseas, but then a lot of other coaches are probably going to be produced in Australia, right? So what needs to kind of happen for the quality to go up as well, so that boxing, you know, even in the amateur scene, like, you know, there's in America or where you probably find amateurs that'll knock out pros, you know what I mean? It's a very crazy high standard, right? So like, what needs to kind of keep happening for that standard to be lifted up, so that the quality of boxing and fighters get
It'll start like with the coaching. So if you got one, like, that's why like America, like all these other countries are better, because they've got more fighters. They're fighting at a certain level, so the level's always high. Coaches get better because they have to beat one another. And I feel like I've only coached for 2.5 years. I've learnt heaps. It's so different, man. But I feel like if one coach is doing alright, then every other coach has to step up. And it's easy for them to step up if they know what they're doing. So if they're going to fights and they're studying fighters from other gyms, and then that's when coaches pick out and then they try their methods, you know what I'm saying? Difference is, the coaches can try and pick what the other fighters are doing, but you have to know in order to get the refinement when you start teaching them the methods. It's like, I can do all this stuff on Instagram and show them like what we do. It's like trying to find out the secret in the Big Mac sauce. What's the secret? The secret is the trainer that's training the fighters and their refinement and, you know, what they know from their knowledge and their experience. The easiest thing is, if you're going to look for a trainer, and I tell my students, go and ask your trainer how to shadow box. Go, excuse me, sir, can you shadow box for me for 1 minute? If the trainer is shadow boxing a certain way and it looks fucking ugly as, well, you're only going to be as good as the master, are you? You know what I'm saying? But depending, like some boxers who are good fighters, sometimes they don't even have the knack to coach, you know? It's like Diego Maradona, one of the best of all time football, but can't coach for shit. But I feel like I've been blessed, and I think that's why I didn't want to go pro, because I just didn't have the heart to train. But I think my character is, I want to nurture people to grow, to bring the best out of them, to make them believe when they thought they couldn't. You know what I'm saying? And I see that all the time, and that's priceless to me, you know what I'm saying? And then you see them when they were just like crawling, and then all of a sudden you've tuned a Honda Civic to a fucking Lamborghini. And that's what I get. So I feel like in order for this level to go high, there's got to be a lot more coaches and competition, so the level starts lifting. You know, that's how it is, and that's why overseas there's so many good fighters, and it's only.
And that's why a lot of I guess a lot of the hot prospects, they tend to go overseas, right? And
to
overseas, obviously,
to get the competition and also to get war hardened. You know, like there's like some other day, maybe a couple months ago, about like Nigel Ben's son, Conor Ben, wanting to fight fucking Josh Kelly, and I'm like, Conor Ben lucky to win a fucking state title here. I think that's the best he's done, and Josh Kelly's been to Olympics, you know, and he's trying to call out Josh Kelly, and he's worlds apart, you know. But you know, it's a hype job. But I think that's what it is. In order for the level to get high here, there's got to be more competition, and obviously you're going to get your politics with the refs and the judges, but you shouldn't let that get to you. You should just always try to evolve. And even as a coach, I'm always evolving. I'm not staying the same like I was yesterday, because what tends to happen is, and I try to learn off the younger generation, because they're doing a lot better than what I was doing, you know what I'm saying? I'm at their level, the mindset and this and that, but they're showing us stuff, you know? Like, I ask old guys that come to my gym, I got this one guy, he's like 63 years old. I said, who was the game changer when you were growing up? He goes, Muhammad Ali. You go, what did he do? He goes, the shuffle. In our generation, Lomenchenko's done the switches, like he's made the Tyson switch more popular. So see how every generation it gets better. Sometimes the coaches, they'll teach what they see, but they don't know the method, they don't know the purpose, they don't know when to throw, you know. And sometimes, because I'm so analytical, and I don't go and rubbish them, I just see, and then, you know, I can afford to say that, because at the end of the day, I've fought at the top level, I've medaled. Some of them don't have the right to even talk to me and try to tell me something, and most of them they won't anyway, because at the end of the day, all I've got to say is like, well, what have you done? You know, and they're like, I just done a 2-day course, and okay, then you don't have the right to talk on my table. Yeah.
And
I'm straight up, bro.
Yeah. And then it's like conversation over. I never, I've been watching the energy on your Instagram, lately, and I was like, man,
I'm straight shooter,
I
man.
was like, I gotta get this motherfucker on, bro. I'm like, that's the kind of energy that I need right now, you know what I mean? So I was like, I gotta get him on. It was just like speaking to me, man. I was like, nah, it's good, man. I mean, that's what it's leading into next, man. Just kind of like what you've been up to lately. I know that you got your, you started a boxing academy as well, and man.
Can you beat my boy?
I was your boy first. People don't know, but you're the one that taught me boxing first, man. You know what I was thinking about when you were coming in? I was thinking about the drill that we did where you got one guy against the wall and you had 5 cunts throwing punches on you, And I remember the first time I experienced that, and it's funny, you got 5 guys fucking hitting you in the wall, you're trying to defend, and all you hear is Loma's laugh on the side there, and I was like, fuck, this guy's laughing, bro. And then, but that was a good fight, man. It was a good fight. I remember when I saw it, I was like, oh man, inside I felt this type of way. Cause
because we know,
man. It's, I know it's fighting or whatever, but like, I felt some type of way, like, you know, and I was like, fuck, I'm gonna see you, and I'm like, I was like, we're boys, man. We're like actually real boys. So I was like, But man, like you started your boxing academy, and then like I saw this whole movement with PCYC. You know, you kind of went back to PCYC, and then there's this whole build, and it's been. That's what really kind of like struck me about you, was just that I just saw from there. It almost felt like you had a vision, you had a goal, and then I've just seen it kind of develop in the last couple of years, you know, with just your attention to pulling these young kids that want to, you know, box. And so tell me a little bit about like that part of your life, because I feel like it's a massive identity of who you are right now as you sit in front of me, you know.
So when I started off, I ended up but before that I had gone through a rough patch, right? So I didn't know what to do with my life. I was doing trades, I worked as a cleaner, fucking every shit job there was, but I never took it for granted, right? And then when I got into that, I took over from my dad, because my dad was, I think because I wasn't boxing, so my dad kind of lost interest. And my dad was getting good numbers, but he was starting to get a few complaints because, you know, he wouldn't, it's the effort that he was showing. So PCYC approached me and they said, look, can you take over? Because I was bringing my clients in anyway, you know, like, and I didn't want to do anything in boxing, but there was a couple of boys I thought they were going to go very good, and they did. And then they asked me, and I go, you know what? Because my dad had left it in such a toxic place, the first thing in my mind was to change the culture and the attitude of the gym, because people coming in, they wait for my dad didn't even care, you know, and they're like, oh, I don't want to train here, fucking. Because at the end of the day, the leadership dictates a lot on how it's going to play out.
100%.
So I'll come in, and then Adam, Little Mark, and Danny, and Kevin, they were like my originals, my OGs. I said, I'm going to turn this fucking place, and I'm going to build Cabra to be a hard gym to beat. That when every club fights Cabra, they're like, holy fuck, we know we got, you know, it's never ever easy to fight with Cabra. And then because I was giving back experience and all these kids were coming in that were enjoying it, you know, and that's the fulfillment that I get, because I like it when they enjoy it. I don't pressure them to fight, because boxing is fucking hard, and you know, like to cut weight. It's not an easy sport. So I said, enjoy the training, because when you enjoy the training, then it leads to the obsession and the addiction. Then you want to push. I'll never force.
You'll always hit that glass ceiling, man. Like even for me, it was 5 years. I remember training the first fight. You came and holding pads for me. It was 5 years, and it was just because like. After a while, you hit that glass ceiling, and naturally, I think when you want to compete, you'll know, because the time will come where, like, all right, how long am I going to keep turning up and sparring every week?
And then
like,
you get,
and then essentially, what's going to drive me to be like better? You can always get better, right? You can always fine tune. But that's what happens. I feel like naturally, you hit that glass, and you're like, man, the only way I need to test this out.
I need to just try.
And but at the end of the day, I think. The point I was trying to make is that turning up to training is the first thing, and I think that's where the whole focus should be. Just turn up to training and have fun, and I think everything else kind of sorts itself out.
And that's what it is. So that's how I drew my the gym, and then I was paying. Obviously, I was a venue user, so I was paying rent, and I didn't mind losing because I already had a full-time job. Then within 10 months, I was already trying to look for a place, because my numbers were so good. PCYC had approached me to come on full-time. And PCYC don't really give out full-time jobs. And I said, you know what? Yeah, because this is my career, this is my bread and butter, you know. I might as well get paid for the experience, you know. My 19 years of knowledge should count for something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was close to like gonna go open up my own gym because I couldn't. But what made me want to go to PCYC because I was that kid that used to walk into the gym and be like, I'm looking for something, like I want to do something better with my life. And that's what I feel like with the kids, and I can feel that, you know, like on an emotional level, that's what I feel like. And sometimes the guys in my gym, they're like my babies, you know, like, and I'm hard on them, you know, but like at the same time, you know, I have a laugh and this and that. And it just grew from there. And then, you know, I'm getting like 50, 60 a night in the gym, you know. I'm not saying all of them are going to be world champions, but they're going to be better in their lives, you know, they're going to see things from a different perspective. And I needed to give the gym structure to have the good, the good community feel. And that's why, you know, when you come to my gym, you know, people feel like a family. You're there to help each other out. You're there to make everyone better. And, you know, and it's the way I run my system. Like, it's not just in the gym. It's how you act outside. You know, you say hi to someone, ask how someone's going. You shake hands, you know, like little things like that, growing them into proper men, you know, or, you know, a young woman coming through. And I think when I had put that system in place and everyone's achieving something, they're not going out and starting fights, because that's what it is. It's the discipline, you know, having that self-control and to not do bad things. And you can see everyone, they started to change. Confidence started coming out. They're acting like proper men, you know.
Beautiful to see, bro.
Yeah, and that's what. And that's the thing. It's like, and I was telling them, it's like the same shit. Like Ronaldo will never play for a Barcelona because Barcelona have certain ethics and how you live your life. You know, he's too egotistic, you know, so that's how I treat my gym. I run it like a football academy, you know, you got your certain levels, the way you perform, how your mannerism outside, you know, because everyone's going to judge you, you know, like the first 3 seconds are going to like you whether you're good or not. So, and it's about making the members feel like they're welcome, they're part of something, because that's what it is. That's why you go to gyms, because you're in your own clique, you know, and that way, and because I'm giving a good service, they're telling 20, 30 of their friends, and that's why I'm just so busy. And now, looking back from 2.5 years where I've come from, I've turned Cabramatta PCYC, having 2 gyms, one room's got 2 rings, you know, I've got a system going. And I can say, and I've been to head office, like our Cabra PCYC boxing program in the whole state is the best. When it comes to engagement, the revenue, the fighters, Cabramatta's leading the way. And that was out of, like, you know, that's why a lot of people are like, how the fuck is Lomi doing this? You know, but like, I'm passionate in what I do, you know, I don't do shit half-assed. If you're passionate, then people are gonna feel their energy and they know you're there, you know, like some people are about, you know, the transaction, you know, like for me, when I started as a venue user, if I knew I had to make money, I had to be passionate in what I did, and I did. I gave you 100% of my effort, you know what I'm saying, because I want you to do better. And that way, the money side, it comes anyway.
It works itself out.
You know, people like, they go, oh, you're gonna make this dollar, and then you go train, they're like, fuck, this guy just using the money, or, you know. And that's why I stay busy, because that's why I burn myself out, because I give 100% to every student client that comes, you know. But like now some of my students have been with me long enough. Now I'm starting to coach them how to train people, so it takes a lot of weight off my shoulder, and you can see them, man. You can see their leadership, because I expect leadership from everyone. If a new person comes in, all right, you go and help them out. You show him, you know, because I can't do it all myself.
But I feel like they stand out too, man. Like obviously with a lot of your kids, who've come up through the system, and you've been with them, involved with them for some time now, right? So they're obviously, with their routine, their discipline, their different stages. When they get to a certain point, I feel like the leaders will start to stand out and be able to see them. You know? And that comes with developing them and all the years that they put in, right? And their discipline. So that confidence comes, and then eventually, like those guys that are leaders amongst your 50, 60 people that are kids that are around you training, they're going to start standing out. You know what I mean? And that comes from, obviously, you know, good leadership and you know, mentoring and whatnot. But I think when you give people the platform, right, that's kind of something I don't know, it's like if you give someone the platform, those people will stand out, man.
100%.
And eventually, like you said, obviously it helps out, because you can't
pay
attention to everybody, right? So, and if you're teaching them, like, they're learning, bro. They're becoming better for it, right? I always say, like, you learn more, and I feel like you train yourself more about your skills or whatever when you have to teach someone. Like when I have to take classes and stuff,
then you have to step up.
I talk shit. This guy's going out there, my boxing instructor said this, you know, but I feel like that's when you really train. Like you really train yourself. So there's really good qualities that come out of that. You know? And man, just to kind of like end it off, like what's kind of like first of all, for people that do want to come down to PCYC Cabramatta and learn under the great Loma. And tell them how they can get a hold of you, bro. Just the details and
just look on the Cabramatta Fairfield PCYC website, and it's got all the links there. Obviously, become a member first. Obviously, COVID, I do run group sessions, but you have to book it online. But once the gym opens up, in hopefully the next couple of weeks, we cap it at 100. Every gym will be under 100 spaces to 100. And book your spots because I do get, like when I say I get busy, I actually get fucking busy. I've had to turn away clients as well as PTs. But join that, and then I train, most days it's from Monday to Friday, 6 p.m. You can even follow my content on Instagram, so Jana should put it up anyway, so it's at Lomalito Moala.
Put the details up.
So the details were up, and enjoy the content because it's the first time since COVID had happened I've been bringing out a little bit of my knowledge, and now boxers even at national level are messaging me like, holy shit, like you actually, because they see what I do at the club, but they didn't see like the skills that I'm training. And I'm all about like giving back if they know they're going to use the tools to better themselves, but some fools they go, oh yeah, rah rah, it's like, okay, but at least I put it out there, And
didn't Chris Hemsworth or someone?
So I got this like stalker hat, and I've had Sugar Ray Leonard stalk as well. But Chris Hemsworth,
he's my favorite boxer, bro.
Yeah, I love Sugar Ray. He's the
my
best.
favorite boxer, bro.
So it came up one morning. I woke up and I see Chris Hemsworth stalk my shit, and I knew because I already follow on Instagram, and that was his pick. I'm like, holy shit. So like if guys like Chris Hemsworth are stalking on my page, then I must be producing some quality shit anyway. But like for me, it's the way I do is because I've got bigger goals for myself. I know people are gonna laugh, and I don't give a fuck. Like I want to retire before 40. Like I'm trying to buy investments. Buy property. After I buy my missus a Range Rover that she wants, I want Aston Martin. Like if you set the bar high, then you know how hard you have to grind. You can't be setting the bar high and then you're grinding.
Short, bro. It's much harder.
It's still So you go fucking hard. So that's my thing. So and I obviously want to start coach, like get on to like national teams in a coaching role, But I want to earn my stripes. I don't want to earn by like sucking my way to the fucking top like some people do, So. I'll grind the way I am, and I'll let my fighters do the talking.
And man, I fucking appreciate you coming through, bro.
Thanks, bro.
And man, I'll put the details down, and definitely can follow you, man. And man, I appreciate you coming through. I know I appreciate what you're doing, man, and I'm sure a lot of people do, even the haters. Bro.
You gotta feed the haters, baby.